Welcome, everyone, to the Historic and Architectural Review Board meeting for Wednesday, May 3rd, 2023. First order of business is a call to order. Second order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Third order of business is applications for board review. First case is Harb 2023-04, 320 Luella Avenue, new addition, widening center portion of house for side entry, circular addition on side of house, adding patio, stairs off back entry, remove pool decking. Before we get into the presentation, I would like to bring up some basic background on this property. According to Radnor Township records, they say it is a contributing property. It was built in 1896. The architect was Francis Gewert. The builder was J. Lendl and Sons. According to Radnor Historical Society's Historic Resource Survey, the architect was Francis A. Gewert. The builder was J.D. Lengel. According to Delaware property records, they say it was built in 1896. The building area is 6,364 square feet living. The exterior walls are rock. Please introduce yourself and share your plans with us.
Hello. My name's Tim Lucci. I am an architect, a principal at Peter Zimmerman Architects, and I'm here representing the owners of 320 Luella Avenue. The property is in the South Wayne Historic District, and as he described, it's a late 1800s home that around sometime in the early 2000s there was an addition put on the rear, and that's primarily 90% of the work that we're renovating. Oh, let's see, you can see my plans. Sorry. So this is the proposed site plan, which is a little difficult to see, but the footprint, 90% of the footprint will be existing of the building. There's a dotted line that goes down the center of the extension on the back of the house where it shows the existing footprint, which is right here. And then this whole rest of this outline is all existing home. The pool area in the back, again, there is very lightly, there's an existing walkway that goes to the existing family entry in the back of the house, and then a walkway that goes to the pool deck, and then this dotted line which runs across here is the existing shape of the pool deck, all of this. So our proposed plan had twofold. One is to stay within the impervious coverage, so we're fairly maxed out at 30%. This is an R2 zoning district, so the maximum impervious is 30%. We're right, the existing is 29.62, and we're basically taking some away to add a little bit of the footprint that we're proposing to add onto the house. the client and most of our clients in these areas are looking to sort of get a better connection to the outdoors. They want better space for their kitchen, better connection for family living with the kitchen, and more space as far as a family entry, mudroom space, closet space. And then on the upstairs, again, that sort of translates to program on the second floor, which is better master bedroom, master bath. We're accomplishing that 90% of in the existing footprint. And so I'll walk through the plan fairly quickly just to show why we had to expand it. And then on the exterior, primarily the purpose was really to integrate the addition more seamlessly with the original architecture of the house. So this is the existing first floor plan. Existing floor plans are up here. So this is the existing kitchen. It's fairly narrow. And then there was a family room on the exterior with a family dining space that looked out over the pool. And then these are services here. So we were tasked with trying to open this back up so it had more connection to the swimming pool, so you can have views out there when kids are swimming, and then expanding sort of the kitchen area to a more usable kitchen with a bigger family entry. The second floor, one of the things we're looking at is, and you'll see on the photographs, this entire facade, this on the left hand and the front of this addition has no fenestration whatsoever, so there's no windows. Has a chimney, which works from the first floor, and then both those spaces are all master dressing spaces, and there's no windows in any of that space. It's a very small, narrow primary bedroom, and then pretty for this size of house, a pretty small master bath. So we're looking at relocating the family entry to have better access when you park your car on the driveway side into sort of a nice family entry with breathing room for a couple adults, a couple kids, storage space, walk-in closets, first floor family powder room that also can be accessed when kids are using the pool, and then putting the living spaces at the end of the house where it has better views. You have a family room, kitchen, and a family dining, which is a glassed enclosed porch. So sort of open up all those spaces to make a more seamless connection with the outdoors. So the addition, what we're doing is this piece, which is the family dining, which is a glassed covered porch, is new. We're removing this tower piece here and just putting a bay window that's off the kitchen for a better view outside. And then then we're adding this stair tower for better access from the first and second floor. The existing stairs are from the first to second floor being removed. The secondary stair, it's very narrow. It's not code compliant. We're trying to add a little more architectural value for the outside of the house and also better circulation on the inside. And then the extension, as you can see, there's this sort of narrow space here. We're widening it maybe by about 7 feet to incorporate more storage services on the first floor, and then dressing and laundry room on the second floor. Okay, so I think the best way to show this is, if you can see that, this is the property directly across the street. I'm standing in the front yard of 320 Llewellyn looking across the street. It's a very similar style house, arts and crafts, stone. It has cedar shingles, stone veneer, and this one has, I think it may be a cedar roof. This is the property to the right of 320 Llewellyn. This is their 320 Llewellyn's driveway. This is the property obscured. Both sides of the street are very obscured. You can't really see them at all through the vegetation. This one's the left side of them. It's a Tudor style house. And again, it's just hard to see. All right, so this is the front elevation existing, and not much from this view will change at all. There'll be no discernible changes there.
Just one quick question. With the addition, et cetera, I'm assuming none of this is really going to be visible from street view. Am I correct?
The only thing that is visible is the new stair tower, this piece here. You'll sort of be able to see that, yeah, because it'll be right in front of this. This is the existing stucco addition in the back of the house, and our stair tower is coming out here.
Yeah, I was curious about this this property because it's kind of like a mixture of a couple of things. When I think architecturally, and I was thinking especially with Queen Anne,
Right.
With towers,
Yeah.
and I think what you're proposing on that left side would be very appropriate.
I mean, one of the goals of it was to reskin the exterior to make it more in keeping with the neighborhood architecture. There's a lot of stone. Like I said, there's a lot of Tudor and timber framing. There's a lot of exposed rafter tails, which this has, and there's a lot of cedar shingles in the neighborhood, as you could see on the house across the street. So bringing those natural materials back, ideally, this roof probably originally had a slate roof on it. Possibly cedar, most likely slate. The previous owner had put the red, it's a Grand Manor carriage house asphalt shingle on there, which is a nice shingle. It's not a natural material like we prefer to use, but we're sort of stuck with that. We're matching all those existing features. We're matching the existing windows. Some of them are original, like these upper windows. Hard to see, but they have a little special sort of muntin pattern in them, and the lower windows and some of the other windows have been replaced previously by the previous owner, which is a simulated divided light window. I think it's a Pella window. It's clad on the exterior. It's like a cream color clad, and it'll be wood on the interior. So we'll be matching those details, and that's an appropriate window.
Very well.
Okay. So this is sort of an oblique view of the front of the house again, no change. This is the right side of the house. As you can see, this is the porch on the right side, no changes there. This is the existing connection between the addition on the back to the original house. And basically that we're eliminating that wall. We're moving this wall toward us by about 7 feet, creating a new sort of glassed-in family entry, and then recladding the upper of that in shingles.
Well, especially with that addition, what I think is very highly appropriate, and I think you have addressed this, is that you're keeping that main house prominent.
Yeah.
And that's what we look for.
Yeah, that's what we'd like to do.
Surely.
It's the nicest part of the house.
Yeah, and especially even though you're bumping out a little bit there on the addition, it's still well within, where the area where the main house is.
Okay.
I think we as a board definitely appreciate that.
I guess the biggest change really, is this elevation where, again, this is the enclosed porch. We're taking the same details that are on their existing front of the house, the front covered porch. We're mimicking them on this rear of the house with this covered dining room, and then we're just glazing it in, which you see that detail all over town. Eliminating the tower in the back, it's really not appropriate for this house at all. And then opening that sort of elevation up to the views to the exterior.
Can I ask a stupid question?
Sure,
This is a proposal, is it not?
it is.
How did you pack it with people so quickly?
Pack it with people.
Now go to the
It's
previous-
magic. Yeah,
Go to the previous. page.
yes.
The
It's a
one
party.
with
It's a
the
party there. Yeah. It's
All having
a lot
fun,
going on down
sunbathing,
there.
laughing.
Yeah, Met Gala action. Again, it's just sort of zoom in on some details. We're going to clad the bottom to match the existing stone, so it sort of ties into the front of the house better. We're going to put a shingle flare above, which ties into the architecture, the style of the architecture of this house, which we're calling arts and crafts. And it also ties in with a lot of the homes in that neighborhood. And then it has cedar shingles above. Match the roofing, match the windows.
You mentioned that was an addition.
It was. It is.
When was it done?
Early 2000s, 2003 maybe? Yeah. It's not great. It's all stucco. It's brown. I guess that was before you guys existed. Or they slipped it in. We're hoping to bring it back up to the level of quality that this kind of house deserves. So that was my presentation. Do you have any questions, comments?
Just, very briefly with the pool decking, that's all in the back of the house?
It's all in the back of the house.
Okay.
Yeah, yes. We're reducing it significantly. It's a lot of pool. It's a lot of pool decking. But none of that will be seen from the street.
Well, are there any further comments or questions from the board?
It would be unkind, so I won't comment.
Really?
Well, because the addition just kind of didn't belong with that house. In other words, it wasn't my time to comment on it. It was early 2000 when it was proposed. So you're working with what you have?
We are, yes. There's a lot of, there's value to the house that's there, the footprint that's there. So it seemed silly to spend the money to tear down, which they didn't really want to do. So the best option for us was to reclad it. And I think they really have been on board to do that. And this is, we're lucky to have a client that is willing to spend the money to do that. Yeah.
In a way, I also think too, it's, a modern adaptation, for a house, for families' needs, things like that. And I know we as a board, we have to keep that in mind in particular because things do change.
Right, and this design isn't particular to this client. This is for families, what families are looking for today. Larger kitchen, connection to the family living space, more elbow room in the family entry, and a better sort of primary suite above. So I would say, 90% of our renovations, that's what clients are asking for. So not just this client, so hopefully it'll go through the next 100 years.
Indeed. Again, any further questions or comments from the board? No? Do we have a motion?
I move that we issue a certificate of appropriateness.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion for certificate of appropriateness. The motion was seconded. I also say yay. The motion carries. Thank you for presenting to us today.
Thank you.
Also, too, by the way, very beautiful house. Lovely.
Hopefully it'll be on Porch Fest, ready for Porch Fest next year.
Porch Fest. Yes. No, I was there at the last one.
It's getting a little crazy.
Fun time. I'm glad it came back in person. That's for sure. And it's always a good thing, especially like, from my perspective, being on this board, you can see these houses right up front. You can go back in the backyard. You can go back into these secret gardens. You can see the architectural detail. It's wonderful.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Our next application for board review is HARB 2023-05, 320 Luella. Add windows, doors, color change, accessibility improvements, signage. If you could put your plans on that table, and there should be a microphone there. Did Tim? Okay, yeah, you can use that too if you want to walk around. Before we get into this presentation, I would like to bring up some basic background. But also, too, when I was thinking of this particular case, it's unique for us in a way because it's a commercial building. We've had apartments, things like that have come before our board, but I don't remember anything specific when it came to a standalone business building. So I just wanted to share that. And before the presentation, I would like to bring up some basic background on this property. Radnor Township records, they say it is a non-contributing property. According to Radnor Historical Society's Historic Resource Survey, they say it is a non-contributing property. According to Delaware County property records, they say land use commercial, built in 1880. The building area is 12,347 square feet total. Building class, wood or steel frames. Please introduce yourself and share your plans with us.
Absolutely. I'm John Klopman, Klopman Architects, and representing the potential owner. They have a purchase agreement. Is this working?
Did you turn it on?
It's on.
Okay.
A purchase agreement on this property, and they're currently in their due diligence phase. And part of that is getting through the hard process as well, some other things with, potential sewer zoning, parking that is outside of this room that we're also working with. So wanted to get some plans in front of you guys before we get too far in the other phases to know whether or not the due diligence period will go through and purchasing the property. They intend to turn it into a salon, hair salon. It was currently an Asian restaurant, and there was 2 apartments above that. Changes they are proposing are, for the most part, pretty minimal. They want to... Who zooms? Can I zoom that?
Andy, can Ian zoom in?
We'll get Ian to come out.
Okay. Please bear with us, John.
Absolutely. Yeah, just getting a little bit closer. They would like to, let me just put the plan in front of you. This is the original front of the building, Wayne Avenue along here, and then this is the side street, which, I don't remember, which street is that?
Which one, Conestoga?
Conestoga here. The properties all around the corner, which I'll get to pictures of that later, are all commercial properties, and none of them are consistent with anything else or any of the historic buildings down the street. They are proposing inside just having 10 stations, 5 shampoo bowls, and for the most part, all open space. But as far as the exterior, they are proposing to remove these 5 windows along the back and closing them in. That relates to this back view. Right here. and I believe I have another picture somewhere else, but this back view, there's 5 windows here that they want to remove and fill in. There is also on the front what was the side entrance. They are making this the main entrance right now, and 2 other doors that are on the side, which is right here. They want to remove those doors and put windows in its place and keep the center door. None of these openings are historic. It's currently the frame, the drywall and plaster and everything is out, and you can see where some of the original openings were. This center one is the only still framed in as the one of the original openings. These other 2 are not, but they would like to replace them with windows on the side there instead of the door, as well as redo these stairs here. They are concrete, they are T-shaped.
One quick question.
Yes.
With the replacement of the windows, I'm assuming you're replacing replacement windows with replacement windows.
Yes, that's.
Is that correct?
That's another thing I'm getting to later on down, yes.
Okay.
Other windows, yeah. So redo these stairs here. They are concrete. They come down to a landing and go off in 2 different directions. They want to just have a straight run down and redo the stairs, repair all the concrete, put new railings up to bring that more up to code and safer. On the front side, you want to do through the ADA ramp? This is, we're throwing this out there in case they do decide to do this. With what the changes they're doing, they do not have to bring 100% of it up to accessibility code, but if they do decide to, we still need approval to put a ramp out here, and not only approval from you, but approval from someone in the streets department because we're encroaching on a right-of-way. So one other thing is they are proposing to put a ramp on the outside. We have 2 possible locations, but this would just be a handicap ramp to make the building handicap accessible because it currently is not, and there's no real pretty way to do that. That meets code at all other than raising street level, which won't work.
With that being said, another question I have is, will this building still be used at a future time as a commercial building? Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
It's intended to stay commercial.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, commercial below and the 2 existing apartments stay up above, doing no changes to those. Coming around the back here, there is an existing plywood door, which they would like to replace with an actual door. Storefront. They intend to use one of the ones that they're removing from here and put it back here. Following around, which you really can't see this. This is this view down here. You can't really see it because of fencing and everything, but there is an existing door and another one that was original to the building that at some time was removed. They want to put that door back for the stairs to the second apartment, as well as second means of egress coming out of their salon here with a new either concrete or wood landing here and railing. So what is currently here is a very tiny little step and fall off the edge. There's no railings or anything else. They want to make that safer and more accessible. They also want to remove existing exhaust fans from the original kitchen. I don't think they're historic, as well as some of the air conditioning components that are scattered throughout on the sides. They want to relocate them either up on the flat roof here or around the back. But before somebody starts relocating condenser units, we want to make sure we have approval that.
Now with the vents,
Yes.
going forward, if it's a restaurant, would the vents still be there?
Going forward, if they
If it was
put a restaurant in,
a restaurant?
or a future owner or a future tenant would want to put a restaurant in, yes, they would have to put a commercial kitchen hood in. Whether
Okay.
the vents would go up, out the side, where that would be located is,
That was suggested to me, so I thought, I would share that, with you. It was a question.
and I had done previous work on the building where it was originally going to be a kitchen before it went to salon. They had to replace them anyhow because there was nothing up to code about them. Well, it's not there right now. Yes, you can go to the Gables or, right? Go to the Gables for food?
Thai food now?
No, not Thai food.
Now with, just another question I have.
Yes.
You noted signage. Have you been before the design review board?
I have the stuff, that's
Oh, you
another
got it.
process. We're aware of that, and same thing, we have to get approval on the signage, but we also need your approval that we are going to replace signs as well. That would be the original, Asian garden sign on both sides, they want to replace with their own sign, as well as putting where's it at? A new street sign in this grass area right here. And they know they will need approval on that for the sign, but just making you aware of that and granting permission for that. And then I think the last thing is all the windows are replacement windows in existing openings that do not fit the openings. They're too small. You can see, blocking and everything underneath. They want to replace all of them with windows that fit. They are proposing black windows to match the black windows below, and they're also proposing to repaint the building a stone color gray. So gray stone with black windows. Going around to, you have hard copies of this, right?
Yeah.
That you can, okay,
I do, thanks.
because I know you can't really see looking at these pictures, but looking at the neighboring commercial properties, there is nothing historic or nice looking about the building diagonally across the street. On either corner, same thing, this is directly across the street. This is the back view of the neighboring property to east of it, I think, as well as here. And it's not till you get a block or so down where you actually get into residential properties. There is a...
Blind to Keith Martin, aren't you?
I'm sorry?
Is the building contiguous with Keith Martin, or are they
No.
they're separate buildings? aren't
It's
they?
a separate building. There is a newer commercial building across the street, which is, sorry, this one right here. But it's a builder's dream.
The building's been for sale. The building across the street has been for sale for
Has it?
probably a year.
Okay. So I think that wraps it up, right? Yeah, so most of it is accessibility, safety. There are some design things as far as removing the back windows and changing the color that needs your approval on, but it's accessibility and safety for all the entrances. And then the windows.
I just wanted to say in particular, especially with this property, again, it was kind of like unique for us, but it's in the, South Wayne Historic District, and it's a commercial building. But one of the things I wanted to point out is how I very much appreciate you doing access for those who are handicapped. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. A lot of people make it very hard
Yeah.
because now it's in the right of way.
Yeah, when I saw this building, I didn't see that access. But now, John, you
Yeah, there's
presented, for the owners, very well,
Yeah,
I
there's-
say.
There's other hurdles to be able to do that, but that is something they're proposing to do, is put a handicap entrance in the one side.
Yeah, in some ways I speak from experience, so I know, in a way. Okay. Are there any further questions or comments from the board? Terry? Do we have a motion?
I move we issue a certificate of appropriateness.
Okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion for a certificate of appropriateness. The motion was seconded. I also say yay. The board recommends a certificate of appropriateness. Thank you for presenting to us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
John, could you bring that mic? Don't forget it. Thank you. Okay. As I was sharing it at our last meeting, just to think about maybe if we can look at doing scattered sites in a way, It'd be fun, I think. Or at least with the Philadelphia story, right?
Right.
Ardra Austin, right? We can revisit Katharine Hepburn and all that. Well, beyond that, if there's nothing else the board would like to discuss, I'll call an adjournment and our date for our next meeting. What say you?
Agreed.
The only thing that you mentioned to me was about the planning of the Board of Commissioners talking about individual properties. And that was the video that you sent.
Yeah, what I sent, Terry, was a video that was recorded recently that was sent to me by a citizen, and I think you know who he is. And the Planning Commission, and they were, reviewing what our board does and what they would like to try to accomplish and what they can do. I'm not sure how extensively they can do this, but with scattered sites. So that would be protection and preservation of, historic houses that aren't located in our current historic districts. Kind of like similar to Lower Merion. So when I got that video, I did review it.
Same here.
And I thought, in general, it was very well done, and the arguments were very convincing. But again, I'm not sure, what the Planning Commission can do. But our board was brought up, there was, a sharing in a way, if there could, possibly collaboration. I think that would be possible. But I do think a bit more forward that, anything dealing with scattered sites would probably be more in the purview of the Radnor Historic and Architectural Review Board and the Planning Commission.
Right.
But I was very thankful to this citizen who sent it to me and gave me the heads up. I hope I answered your question. Okay. Well, the next meeting of the Radnor Harb is scheduled for June 7th, 2023 at 6:30. Applications for the June 7th meeting must be submitted on or before May 23rd, 2023. We are adjourned, and thank you, everyone, for joining us. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Like we have all these people.
So where did he get all the people for that